Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have WWE Rivals. I'm not sure where this came from. This is not like a Disney Plus series. It's not a Hulu thing necessarily. It maybe it's National Geographic. No, it's not. It would have said that. Either way, it's a docu-series about professional wrestling, about its heyday and the many generations of wrestlers that came after it. I grew up surrounded by it, and I never got into it. I have to admit that. I know you can't grow up in the 80s and 90s and not be exposed to these characters. Yes, I'm calling them characters. Yes. No, you don't know. There's no way to not know who Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Roddy Piper and all these guys. There's no way to not either be very into professional wrestling or know somebody who is very much, and I had friends like that who were very much into professional wrestling over the years, and they knew all the ins and outs. They'd been to a couple WrestleManias here and there, and it just never did anything for me. I don't know. I mean, and the funny thing about this docuseries, by the way, hosted by Freddie Prinze Jr., yeah. So he's a big fan. This covers not just a single. It's not like a biography of just a single wrestler. It is obviously about the rivalries. So the one that I watched, which strangely enough, only season 2 and season 4 are on Disney Plus. I don't know what happened to season 1 and 3 and maybe 5 and beyond. I have no idea. It says there's a total of 40 episodes. So there's probably maybe 4 or 5 seasons as far as I can tell. But yeah, the first episode of season 2 is Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. And I'm trying to figure out what could they have done in season 1 that they didn't get to that yet in season 1. Like, did they just go through a bunch of wrestlers and then go, oh yeah, what about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant? Kind of an important rivalry. Even I knew that, and I was not into it. So yeah, it's, regardless of whatever the current controversy that is involved with WWE or the late great Hulk Hogan. And obviously, Andre the Giant has passed long ago, star of The Princess Bride, and wasn't Hulk Hogan in a few movies where he was like sort of action nanny, super nanny, or something. I don't know what it was. I forget what it was, but either way, this documentary is, by the way, from 2022 to 2024, so it's not that old. What we do when the one episode that I watched, I got to see sort of the beginning of the popularity of professional wrestling. And by the way, right there, they're right in the center, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. How is this just a season 2 episode premiere? It doesn't make any sense to me. But either way, you get to see. I got to see in the first episode kind of the formation of Andre the Giant and this upstart young guy who was in a rock and roll band, Hulk Hogan. So I forget what Hulk's first name is. I'm sure if you're a fan, you already know. You can tell me in the comments if you feel like it. But you get to see archival footage of their earliest fights, stuff from before they were wrestlers, appearances on television, interviews with Johnny Carson and things like that. So yeah, this is a history lesson in professional wrestling, and it's fascinating to see just these old clips of men doing naked soap opera, basically. Okay, not naked, thankfully, but it's a bunch of men fighting each other, blood going everywhere, people flying over the cage match, the edges of the cage match, all sorts of craziness going on, and the drama, the histrionics that happen outside the ring is what puts this all together. For anybody just watching a wrestling match would be like, oh man, that's kind of cool, but does it look real? Thankfully, Nobody so far, at least in the episode that I saw, nobody treats this as fake. It's understood, but nobody calls it out. It's an old argument that yes, we get it, but you get to see some of the ways that these kind of things were put together, and I was kind of surprised that, and again, I don't know if this is even real or not, but when we hear it from Hulk's mouth, that there was that big rivalry toward the end where Andre turns heel and decides to make a comeback in 1987 for WrestleMania 3, right after Vince McMahon had taken over the whole WWF at the time, I guess. Yeah, I think it was still WWF. When he took over to that, it had to be big, and so why not the biggest wrestlers? Literally the biggest wrestler versus the most popular wrestler in history. Sure, why not? Get them together, have them fight, and yell at each other backstage or whatever, or just sort of, create this whole big soap. It's compelling. It's silly, yes. If you're an adult, it's silly. If you're a child or just a person who really wants to believe, it's sometimes a little upsetting. It's a little scary. Can you imagine the little kids in the audience realizing their favorite wrestler? Hulk started as a heel, and he never beat Andre all those years. But when you get to the point where Andre comes back at the behest of one of the most famous heel managers, you get to see people's hearts being broken, and the Hulk's heart being broken, because he looked up to him literally and figuratively, and just see the birth of that final, or so they thought, battle. And yeah, it what I find more interesting, though, is Hulk telling the story of those final battles and not knowing going into the fight whether he would win or lose. You can choose to not believe that or not, but this interview, kind of the situation, intermixed with roundtable discussions with Freddie Prinze Jr. and a bunch of icons in professional wrestling history. Basically Hulk is admitting that at one point when he's going into this fight, even though they're just sitting on the bench next to each other, and Andre's just pounding Crown Royals left and right that would kill any other man, and then him handing them to Hulk as well, and Hulk going, yeah, I can't do this. I have to pretend that I'm drinking it and then just ditch it whenever he's not looking. Hulk even admitted, for being a man of his size, if he had drank as much as what Andre gave him, he wouldn't have made it out to the ring. But they wouldn't have been feeling pain, let's just say that, if they had both drank that much. And as Andre was getting older and constantly growing, one of his main issue, the reason why he was so big, is he was always growing. And something I didn't know, and something I learned. But yeah, he gets they get out there, and Hulk doesn't know whether he's going to win or lose. So, those of you who watched WrestleMania 3 know what happened. If you don't, well, watch the documentary. It is, even if you're not a professional wrestler, and yes, you can go, I'm so high-minded that I know it's not real. Great. Good for you. Good for you. The people have their fun. And this was entertainment. It's no doubt that when you just get to see these giant, fleshy, rock'em sock'em robots just with feelings, because, man, there's some just gut punch moments, not in the ring, but between the scenes, between the fights, that I can understand the appeal of it. To me, when growing up, I just wasn't really into it. I don't know why. But yeah, it's that's the kind of thing you get. You get the roundtable discussions with Freddie and a bunch of others who've been in the business, who've been wrestlers, talking about these things. You get some cutaway interviews with different people that have been in the industry and were there at those times. You get to see, I think Vince shows up a little bit, and so many others. So, but the main part of it is this interview with Hulk and just seeing how this affected him. And of course, then there's the final battle after WrestleMania 3. So yeah, how that went is pretty interesting. So yeah, and this is not just about Hulk and Andre. That's just one episode. Just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here, and you see some examples here. But the second episode of season 2 is Undertaker versus Mankind. We get The Rock versus John Cena. Yeah, we also get Triple H and Batista. Yeah, all the stars, all the movie stars you know now who used to be in professional wrestling. That's where they got their acting chops, and their physicality. That's why Batista is Drax. He was a big guy, and John Cena and The Rock, both respected actors at this point. Peacemaker versus everything The Rock's been. He's been in so many different movies. Trish Stratus versus Lita. We get Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Isn't that pretty classic? Bunch of fair guys. Undertaker versus Orton. Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper. That was another one. Yeah, they live, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hitman Hart. Look at how young Steve looks there. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. So that's just season 1. Season 2, I think, only has 6 episodes. Yeah. And that is Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, he's all over the place in this. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Booker T. So Stone Cold, there's a lot of wrestling with him. Triple H versus Seth Rollins. Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, going way back there. And Hulk Hogan versus The Rock to finish it off. I have a feeling that could have been the final episode of this series, but So if you got Disney Plus, which I imagine you do if you're watching this, and you love WWE, you might get a kick out of exploring this whole world, this sort of historical archive of the great battles and the great personalities of that era. If you're not, this is actually still kind of interesting. Like, again, if you only know The Rock from his movies, the same thing with John Cena for Peacemaker, or things like that. And he's done a ton of other movies too. But they're always, these guys are known for their beefy roles. They're always action stars for the most part, which, you kind of put yourself in a corner when you do that, when you're just all muscle. But, this wrestling, while it was very much its own thing, was also a stepping stone to bigger things for many of them. Some of them not so much. But either way, they entertained people for decades, and they still do. So if you had if you want to know hey, what was The Rock doing before all those Fast and Furious films and all the other stuff he's been doing? Well, you know what? Check out one of his matches and understand what it was all about. I'm just going to watch. I'm glad I picked the one I picked because, again, that's kind of the one I grew up with that I was aware of but never really watched. Let's pick 146. Let's pick 38. Never know if these things get reset or not. 38. All right. I think we're on the last one of these. This is also a documentary or docu-series. I'm not sure. I think it's just a single documentary. But it's one of a number of different expedition documentaries, and this one is Expedition China. So we get to see the nature, the grandeur, and the beauty of China, whether ancient or modern, rural or urban. We'll find out. Expedition China is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.